a second right here. Oh, what's up? Good morning. So, you guys got any questions? This is one of the subscribers' trucks here on the channel. They dropped it off for me to look at. Unfortunately, it's going to end up needing a hydraulic module for the ABS system. It's setting a C16A EO ABS pressure transducer brake switch mismatch and a continuous memory code that will not go away, and it's in the actual module itself. The module is defective. I tried reprogramming it yesterday to get rid of it. That wouldn't work. I tried running the pumps and stuff like that to see if I can get something to jar loose. That wouldn't work. Nothing is working to make this go away. So it's a situation where it could be a module and the pump, or it could be just the module alone, and I can program everything myself here. But now the next step is trying to figure out whether or not we're going to get a used one or we're going to get a new one. A new one for the entire unit is like $3,000 OE. So when you've got a truck that's a 2013 with 179,000 miles on it, at that point you have to start questioning yourself, am I going to dump that type of money into this truck as it rots away, because it's a metal truck and it's not the aluminum truck, so it's going to keep falling apart. So now, what do? Do you spring for the $500 used module and hope for the best? Hope you get the right one? You know? Email me. My email's in the bio. (2018) misfire codes on cylinders 1, 2, and 3, coils and spark plugs. Well, you have to. You're going to have to look at injectors. You're going to have to make sure injectors aren't malfunctioning on those cylinders. You're also going to have to make sure you don't have a bad catalytic converter on that side. And make sure your O2 sensors are functioning properly, because if they're not, it will also cause imbalance in cylinders and misfiring. I would get a Corolla if I was you. I wouldn't get a Honda. So new cars and trucks are super expensive, but seem to have so many expensive problems after they get a few miles out of warranty. Cheap parts, trying to get highest mileage that I've seen on a properly maintained 3.5 EcoBoost, probably 350,000 miles. And a lot of these guys, they're 200,000 miles, no timing chains, no nothing. We have one guy here, he's just starting to have transmission problems. It's not there yet, but he's right at 200,000 miles. He's never changed the transmission fluid since brand new. But he's just now starting to have transmission problems. And then there's a oil pan leak I got to look at while I'm here. Any questions you guys have, I'm going to run this for about 30-45 minutes, and then used minivan, any suggestions? I like the Honda Odysseys, but I don't like them if the transmission hasn't been maintained. Um, any of the older Chrysler minivans were pretty stout. If it came to a minivan, I'd probably stay with a Honda or a Toyota, to be honest with you. Toyotas are phenomenal. Well, on this one, there's an inspection cover on the transmission, so I can pull the inspection cover here. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. See the oil pan right here? Oh, that's my beard. See the oil pan right here? Where it's nice and wet in the back? 9 times out of 10, that's going to be an oil pan gasket. But I can pull this inspection cover off and look up in there further, right here on the trans. And I can actually see if it's a rear main seal or the oil pan. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull that inspection cover real quick, and then if you guys have any more questions, let me know. I'm going to do more live streaming because honestly, the regular channel content, it's sucking right now. I don't have the motivation sometimes to make regular videos in the morning anymore because they seem so repetitive. So it's not motivating me anymore. I want to come up with a new series on here of buying like shit cars and then trying to fix them up and then donate to people. I just don't have time to do it, nor the funding to get. It's a business that I want to start, and I just don't have the funding for it. And I'm spending a lot of time, with the getting ready for the new baby and stuff like that. So yeah, please, if you can, 56 of you, thumb up the video. It helps get the content out there. I'm trying to stay away from politics unless it's something really important and really focus on cars more. But if there's something important with politics, I try to cover it, or something I think that's interesting or wrong or whatever. But if you notice, I switch back to more automotive content because the politics stuff it's burning me out. And it is completely dry inside there. So yeah, that's an oil pan. It's not a rear main seal, so that's good news for this fella. Honestly, theoretically, he could get by with just putting a gasket in it and being done. But when I do this, I have to. It's not that I have to. What I like to do is I like to take that bolt right there, this bolt here, out of the front diff. This bolt here. Then there's another bolt right above in this little hole up here. I like to pull that off and drop this diff down, and it'll drop down like 3 or 4 inches. Then what I can do is, if I need to, I can undo the transmission right here and undo the 2 motor mount nuts on each side, and I can jack the back of the transmission up, which will take the whole engine stuff up as well. And then I can clear this a little easier. And you can drop that pan right out of there, remove this cross member, and change that pan. So that's a good thing. The next thing would be brakes. The rear brakes are shot. The rotors are no good. The front rotors are starting to get a little bit of a lip on them, but they're not terrible. Pads look really good. It looks like it's got new calipers in the front. I mean, overall, it's not a bad It's not a bad looking truck. The only thing I'd be worried about is the rockers rusted out on it, and we're just thinking about you. I was purchased 5 purple for the 10 Avalon. Royal purple, pretty good stuff, man. Yeah, you can bring your Ford to me for diagnostics. I mean, that's my wife right there. I see you 335. Look at those eyes. You want to see those eyes? Here, I'll show you those eyes. See how blue they are? Hopefully the baby gets those eyes. And the chubby cheeks, and the nose, and the feet. Yeah, you can bring the Ford to me. Hit me up in the email in my bio, and get your Ford on out here to me. Let me take a look at it. I love you too, baby. I love you more than the house, the cars, the kids, the dogs, the job, the money. I love you more. Email me. Look in my bio. You'll see it in the About Me on here. Here, I'll write it down real quick. How reliable is the 8F35 and the 8F24 transmissions from Ford? I would say they're not terrible if they've been meticulously maintained, but we've had some issues with them, especially the forward clutch pack acting up. And if you can find one that's been maintained very well and then continue to maintain it, I really don't think you'll have much of a problem. I don't too much care for them though. They're okay though. They're not a terrible transmission. So here's my email. If you want to screenshot it, it's poissoricard.rp@gmail.com. What does P1451 mean? I mean, I don't remember what all the codes mean. So I appreciate that donation as well. Let me put this inspection cover back on real quick. EVAP vent solenoid for a Crown Vic. PCM, nothing is wrong with the EVAP canister. Did you smoke the system, for one? Second of all, did you check the wiring harness where it crosses over the back of the engine and stuff? Because it will rub back there as well. It will rub through wires. That was a notorious issue on those. And what type of testing have you done on that vent solenoid so far? Typically, that's not something that's an issue with the computer. Do you recommend changing the plastic oil plug after every oil change? 19.2? You don't really have to. No. I've reused them over and over and over and over again, and they've been completely fine. But I have a set of the plastic plugs that Dorman made that have the little twist out end, and it drops down and it drains the oil down instead of out. So if you want, I could try to get you a set of those out. I've got about 15 of those plastic plugs that I want to give away to you guys that have plastic oil drain plugs, and they're the updated version with a downspout instead of shooting right out the back on the stabilizers and stuff like that. If it's the same plug, I should say. So again, hit me up in my email. Let me know you want. I forgot about your blue cab. Well, I mean, I dumped a bunch of money into it. I lowered it. I fixed the suspension issues. It was a great vehicle, but I wasn't doing anything with it anymore. I put exhaust and stuff on it and had some fun with it for a little bit. Put better rims and tires, and there was a local Amazon driver, a young guy, Hispanic guy. He's trying to really provide for his family, work hard, tax-paying guy, just blue-collar worker, man, just really working, grinding, wrenching on stuff if he can, delivering packages if he can. And he was like, I'd really love to have a car like that. It would be fun and nice, and I'm young, and I like, you know, loud V8s and stuff, and that would be safe for my family. And I said, you know what? I'll take a loss on it. I know kid probably didn't have a lot of money, and that's just, give me a couple grand for the car, and you could just have it. And he's still driving it around, still running really well. And he's local too. He left for a little bit and then came back, and he said he'd much rather just be here than where he was at in Texas because he wasn't making as much money as he thought he would. And then the other fellow with, you guys remember my ice blue town car? He got a hold of me a few months ago and he said, the compressor finally took a crap on the town car. That was a 2006 Lincoln Town Car. When I gave it to him, it had like 240,000 miles on it. I think he's got like 280,000 miles on it now, and he says it runs great. Absolutely phenomenal. Either bent axle or what do you want for that, Jim? That 92 Mustang, and what's done to it? I mean, I'll go to if you go to my email and send me a link, I'm not gonna remember to click on it. If you send me a link, I'm interested. I want a Fox body Mustang. That's my next. Either it's gonna be an old Ford or Chevy pickup truck, or a Fox body Mustang is gonna be my next project. That's what I'm looking for. There's one by my house right now. They want $7 grand for it, and it's got a set of slicks in the rear. It's got like 355 or 373 gear set. It's a 302 with headwork and cam work done, and it's got a C4 transmission, and they only want $7 grand. It's not perfect, you know. It needs definitely some paint correction there, but overall, it's a great cruising car, a little strip car. It wouldn't be a daily driver. Oh, damn, Jim, that's awesome price, too. So my assessment on this truck would be, needs an ABS module, oil pan gasket. The customer said something about an exhaust leak by the resonator. Let's check that out and see if we can find an exhaust leak by the resonator. Let's see here. That's normal to have water drippage coming from the flange. And the little hole in the back is normal. Hole in the front is normal. This is not busted through. That's normal. That's normal. Yeah, there's no indication of there being an exhaust leak around anything, to be honest with you. There's no tracking upstream. Yeah, there's no tracking at all. Yeah, I don't see anything that would indicate that there's a problem. And that right there is just water dripping, so I would leave that alone. That's normal. And when I drove it, I didn't hear any exhaust leaks either. Appreciate that, Chuck. Would you consider the 1.5 Dragon to be more or less reliable than the 1.5 Eco? I would say the 1.5 liter Dragon is a little more reliable. To me, it seems a little bit more peppy as well. But also, I'm not a huge small displacement fan either, so I've dropped the drive shaft, applied Motorcraft Teflon lubricant to the splines. It clears it up for about a week or two, then comes back. Have you seen or heard of the 2020 Volkswagen Atlas with the blown head gaskets? Oh, absolutely. I sure have. They head gaskets, eating oil, everything. 2010 Ford F-150 5.4. It runs fantastic. However, my issue is when I am driving and I come to a stop, it feels as if I am getting hit from behind. Small tap. Yeah, that's drive shaft or a baffle in the fuel tank could be broken, and the fuel's jumping over the baffle and it feels like a boom. Every once in a while I will get that in my Ford and I will get that in my Chevy, both of them. And they say the answer is lubricating the splines and everything but it still does it anyway. I'm convinced that this might be something that we just don't understand, because both my trucks do that. Actually, all three of them do. I don't know of anybody making metal oil pans. I would, JR. I would do just a partial and then come back and refresh maybe 10, 20,000 miles later, do a little bit more, and then put maybe 20, 30,000 miles on it, and then change what's in the pan and the filter. Or if you've been servicing it, up until this 120,000 miles, just go ahead and drop the pan and filter now. 15 dome light stays on in my F-150. Closed doors light up when doors open. Button is active. Where's the door switch that gets hit? It's part of the actual door latch assembly. You're going to have to hook up a scan tool and then go into the data log portion and look at your parameter identifiers for the doors and figure out which door is staying in a unlatched or open mode. And that's the one that you go after. Thoughts on the Subaru Crosstrek 20? I'm not a huge fan of Subarus, but it's a pretty cool looking vehicle overall. I'm not a huge fan of it. I have a 22 Ford Maverick. Can you explain how the trans should feel when shifting while driving? How it should feel is different than what most people experience. Some people experience like clunky back and forth, hunting a little bit, trying to find what gear it's supposed to be in, and then other people are like, man, I don't have any problem at all. And then some people just put it in sport mode and just drive in sport mode and they never experience any problems. 2002 Ford Explorer, not something you want to be involved in with timing chains. What engine is it? Have you ever seen a 10-speed go 100,000 miles on the original unit? Oh yeah, for sure. But the CDF drum ends up, the brass sleeve or whatever it is inside there ends up sliding and causing cross-flow issues. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd want to get involved in that 4-liter timing chain job. That's a no bueno. Isn't that the engine out one? If I remember correctly, it's been a while. Isn't there like one chain on the back and one chain on, or both chains on the back? I forget now. But I've always was told by those guys, you don't want to get involved in that. How often do you change your oil? 3,000 to 5,000 miles. I don't go more than 5,000 miles. Wax 2024 Fusion 1.5, 60. No coolant or oil issues, runs great. We gave you the car, oil change every port. Should you consider getting rid of it? 2020? No. 2020s don't have the problem that the other ones had. It was like 2017, 2016, 2017. So like early 2019 that had the issue. Once you got past mid-19, they didn't really have the issue no more. Everything was updated. So yours has the updated block. 16 F-150 with a 5.0. What maintenance do you suggest? Depends on the mileage. Coolant, trans, front and rear diff every 40, 50,000 miles. Transfer case 40, 50,000 miles. Oil by 5,000 max. Brake fluid every year or two. Pretty much it. I recommend the same for pretty much all vehicles until you get down to little small PTUs and rear differential units on the smaller SUVs and cars. Then I start recommending much sooner to change the fluid, like 20,000 miles. I found the 2020 Explorer Interceptor is a 3.3 V6 over the 2.3 Eco. Both use the 10-speed, but I assume the 3.3 V6 is more reliable. Absolutely, the 3.3 is a very good, and it's port and direct injection. Trans hangs up between second to third shifts until I increase the throttle. Change fluid filter, didn't solve. Shift solenoids, O-rings. It might be a shift solenoid or like a spring or something that's wore out inside the valve body that's hanging up. Let me see, what was the other? Well, I mean, we did everything that we could do on this customer's vehicle. It's going to need an ABS module, pump assembly. It's going to need a new gasket for the oil pan. I don't really see an exhaust leak, and it definitely needs brake work. So that's it. I can go back. I can go on to my next vehicle, which I have a Ford Transit coming in right now to work on. Another subscriber here on the channel. I just got done working on his Chevy Express 3500. Got it all ironed out. I've got a Honda Civic I got to do some maintenance on. I got to replace rear brake pads and motors, or rotors. I also got to do an oil change on it. I have a 22 Chevy Blazer that I got to do the air filter, 4 tires, an oil change on. And then I just finished up a Toyota Tacoma last night. It needed a cabin air filter, battery. That thing's a nice truck, man. Even though I don't care for them too much because they're a little underpowered, that particular model, that 21 that I drove with the 3.5, that was a nice truck. It only has 31,000 miles on it, and it's like brand new. So, and then yeah, that's it. So I just got maintenance stuff today. Nothing too hard, nothing too stressful today. And then I got a few inspections on some new Atlas, not new, but like 21, 22 Atlases later. So I'll be a little bit lightly busy all day. I just signed the contract, just so you guys know, for the online streaming deal through the company broadcast, and it looks like we're going to move forward, and I'm going to get my own streaming channel and stuff on like Hulu, Roku, or whatever it is, and Apple Podcasts and Android TV or whatever. So I'm going to try to restructure some things and still put out YouTube content, but make some longer form, maybe like a video series on a project vehicle that I buy or something. There was a couple people on here that wanted to donate just vehicles that they had minor problems with, that they didn't want to put money in anymore, and turn it into a channel project and then donate that to somebody in need. So I was kind of entertaining that as well. Acorn sucks. A mechanic told you that you never had to change the coolant if it was still good. Here's what I would do. I would, theoretically, he's correct, but there are some things that you need to check outside of those strips in general. There's something called electrolysis, and when coolant starts to go bad, even though it tests good on the strips, you'll see a micro voltage or like a mini voltage increase in the actual coolant itself. This is the thing. This was a thing on Panther platform cars as well. They wanted you to add an extra ground in one or two different spots to kind of cut down on this and actually change the coolant as well. So if you take a meter and put it in DC volts, take one side and put it to the ground cable, and take the positive side and stick it over in the fluid of the coolant, and you're starting to see a pretty decent amount of voltage there. Time to change the coolant. I haven't really been doing a lot on the Grand Marquis build, man. I pulled the engine and stuff out. Was getting ready to do pistons and stuff like that, and then somebody kind of put a bug in my ear that I didn't really like, and it stalled me out. I don't know whether or not I should keep moving forward. I ordered a set of lightly dished, forged Manley pistons and rods that are good for about 1,000 horsepower. And I was talking to an engine builder, and he said you're not getting the maximum amount of performance out of that car with using a set of not flat top but slightly dished pistons, or dished pistons, because you need more compression, but you also need, so you're going to need more of a dome style piston with valve reliefs, so you can really open those valves, complete stroke, and get as much air and stuff in that cylinder and compression as possible, and then you can really start to build power with a good set of cams. But if you're going to leave those forged dish pistons in there, you're probably losing 40-50 horsepower on what you could get overall with tuning and stuff. So that brought me to a halt, because I had topped out the money that I was willing to spend on that car at the time, and it's just been sitting. I haven't got back around to it because I've just felt like, well, I feel like I'm being pulled different directions, you know, and now I'm like, maybe I do need to motor swap this thing. Maybe it's not worth continuing to put this money into a 4.62 valve, and maybe I should be going back to something different. I thought about, honestly, it's crossed my mind, and even though I don't like LS swapping stuff, it's crossed my mind. It would be cheap, and it would perform very good. There's a few LS swapped Vics I've seen. They are just lightning fast. Or I could do like a 5.4 valve swap or something and really get some more power out of it. But what's up?
Oh, no, to play? No, I didn't, but I'll be there tonight. You're talking about last night?
He said he was going to send the influence form to give you.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put it as an inspection, and then you can come back.
He said there's a whole list.
Yeah. So I'll put it as an inspection, and you give you the list.
Yeah.
Come to me.
Okay. Sorry, guys. It was my service advisor. He's in charge right now, and my main service advisor is not here. 15 or F-150 1827 145 intermittent hit and cat low efficient code. Engine light comes on for. It could be plugs. It could be how the cylinders are reacting to how they're the copaesthetics, you know, and how it's firing and the efficiency. It could throw cat efficiency codes for sure, but normally when you start seeing those efficiency codes, it means the cats are toast. Typically, but not always. 2008 PT Cruiser has engine line on, no codes, no problem with the engine. Barnett, drive it off a cliff. Any news from your old business partner? Yeah, I talk to him all the time. I called him the other day. I wanted to send him baby shower invites. He's struggling a little bit. Business. He's working on the business as much as he possibly can. He's definitely struggling, but he's only in his second or third year, so he's going to struggle a little bit. That's normal. 18 F-150, 5-liter passenger side valve cover. Do you really need to remove the intake and drain coolant? No, you don't. No, you don't have to remove the intake. I didn't do any of that. What I did was I pulled all the hoses on top out of my way. Is in the passenger side where the high pressure pump is at. I pulled the high pressure pump out. I undid the line that went to the high pressure pump, and I kind of just pulled it up out of the way a little bit, and then I was able to get my valve cover off and clear everything and get it out of there. I didn't have to pull the intake manifold off. You too. Hey, there's Axel. He's one of the guys that worked for my buddy that you were just asking about. He's one of the mechanics there. No, long blocks from the factory don't include a turbo. You got to order that separate. On EcoBoost engines, the turbo is disabled or reduced boost on park neutral, as there is no load on the engine, and could increase longevity. Oh yeah, that's how most turbo vehicles, until it sees a demand for some type of load, it's not giving you the boost that you really want. You're fine. Well, I think at this point we're 37 minutes in. I think I'm going to call it right now. If get a couple more real quick, and then I'm out of here. Then I got to start my day. What up, boss man? I have a 2015 Ford Escape with a 2.5 liter, great engine, by the way. 104,000 miles. I was going to add Lucas high mileage oil stabilizer with my oil. What do you think? No, I wouldn't put Lucas in there. Just run. If you need to go with a thicker oil, then you go with a thicker oil. But Lucas, no. Anytime you dump Lucas into something, you're breaking down the actual balance of the additives and stuff that are actually in. Same, Rob. Appreciate you being here, man. Yeah, my pops is, yeah, he's not doing good. Not doing good at all. Sucks, man. Sucks really bad. You know, it's part of the reason why I've been so. Try not to cry. Just give me a second. I'm okay. I'm not crying. I'm okay. Fucking big baby. I love it, man. I love him to death. I'd do anything for him. I wish it was me, you know. It sucks that he's going through this. I just saw that damn thing. What the hell? I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Oh, son of a gun. Got it, sucker. Oh. I am. I like the snow, and I'm waiting to try out the new Duratrack RTs. I absolutely love those Duratrack RTs. I love them, man. They perform well. I don't really like them too much in wet. On wet, the truck slides out really easy. But we have, I have an instructional video coming up. The video that I have coming up is about voltage drops, testing for load testing, voltage drops, things like that. I'm going to try to have it professionally edited. And I'm going to build like a testing station so I can actually explain what each thing is and how you do it. And then I'm going to explain a scenario recently where voltage dropping failed me, but load testing led me to the issue on a 2016 Honda Odyssey fuse box problem. And I was able to figure it out and get it taken care of after multiple people looked at it and couldn't figure it out. I was able to figure it out. Okay, I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and start my day. You guys be blessed. If you have any more questions, please leave it in the comment section down below. I'll try to get to it the best that I can. Maybe you have some ideas for some new content coming up. So just share with me what you guys think may help the channel, may not help the channel, what you guys would like to see more of or less of. I know a lot of people have been saying please live stream more, because the videos are one thing, but live streaming is completely different. So y'all have a great day. Be blessed. I love you all. Take care, and thanks for supporting the channel as always. And thank you for all of the people that bought gifts for my baby to be. It's coming in February. You guys are amazing, man. Me and my wife were blown away by the support from the community, and you guys didn't have to do any of that. You guys helped out a ton, and that we really appreciate that so much. Thank you guys. I'm out.